lighting, any home can fall a little bit flat. We'll hear with her tips on showing your house in the right light. It's Leigh-Ann Allaire Perrault. Hey, Leigh-Ann.
Hi, Mary.
Listen, I am pumped about this subject.
Okay, same.
Yeah.
Yay. I've got some great ideas for you.
Ayo.
Hey.
I'm feeling really good. Okay, so people don't really realize sometimes how transformative lighting in particular can be for their home.
Lighting affects our mood. It can change the perception of a size of the room. It changes the perception of color within the space as well. And really, our circadian rhythm is all about lighting as well.
Yeah.
Our lighting in the morning makes our body react in a certain way versus the evening. So it's such an important consideration. And I think the most powerful, hear me out, the most powerful tool in design.
Okay.
Not just color, lighting.
Oh,
is the
I
most
like this.
powerful.
Well, you
Yes.
talked about mood as well, and sometimes my husband will get home and he'll be like, "You feeling okay?" And I'm like, "Ugh, I'm just bummed." And he's like, turns the light on, and I'm better.
Ding!
So, so I get this 100%.
Right.
Okay, let's start off with some basic kind of lighting info. We're going to
Okay.
talk about the three words that you might hear in lighting.
I'm gonna get a little nerdy.
Love this.
But I think everybody's gonna be able to follow along and that this will make a lot of sense. I first wanna talk about wattage.
Okay.
Back in the day, I remember going to the home improvement store with my parents and we would buy the standard 60-watt bulbs.
100%.
And for us, that meant a certain brightness of light.
Yeah.
But that's the wattage, and wattage actually is the energy that the bulb is using.
Oh, okay.
And that was for incandescent bulbs. Now we have LEDs that use less energy. So a 9-watt LED bulb is actually equivalent to a 60-watt incandescent bulb.
wow, that
so
much.
really what we're talking about is lumens, which is the brightness of light. So the lumen scale is how bright or how dim your light gets. But beyond that, I think the bigger consideration that's often overlooked is color temperature.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've experienced this, where you've maybe gone out and bought a bulb, you put it in, and you're like, why is my house
Yes.
icy blue?
Yes.
Or like, I know we talked about like walking in the neighborhood
Sometimes
at
you're
night.
like out for an evening walk, and you'll just be like, "Why does it look like a hospital in that house?"
Right.
Yeah.
That it's got that blue glow
Yeah, yeah.
inside. It's because of the lighting temperature that they're selecting. So beyond the wattage of how brightness it is, I think we really need to pay attention to that scale. Now, this is a bit of a mind bender. When we talk about temperature with heat, the higher the number, the warmer, the lower the number, the cooler. When we're talking about lighting, it's actually opposite.
Okay. And this is the Kelvin scale, right?
This is the Kelvin scale, exactly.
Yeah.
Smart cookie over here.
Yeah.
So the lower the number, the warmer the light bulb. You see kind of in the middle here, between the 5,000 and 6,000 Kelvin range, you get white light, which is kind of the purest light. A little other fun fact, when we're talking about lighting, it's additive color mixing. So to get white, it's all of the colors on the color wheel, essentially, if we think about color wheel, but in light
like a prism,
terms.
like with the rainbow.
Prism.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you see a prism, it refracts all of the different light waves out there, so you see the different colors. So you want to try to stay, if you want that truest color, right in the middle, but then you can also slide to the higher number, which gives you cooler lighting. All of that said, this is important because this changes dramatically the wall colors in your space.
Oh, okay.
So when you go to the paint store and you pick that paint chip and you say, this just looks perfect, and you're looking at it under fluorescent lighting that has more blue tones in the store, you bring it home, you paint the walls, and you say, this looks nothing like I imagined.
Yeah, and then you're like, they mixed the wrong paint.
You know what it reminds me of? They did, and you want to blame the paint when really the real sabotage here is your light bulbs.
Okay.
It really is. Do you remember the meme about the dress? If it was the gold dress or the blue dress? Yes, same thing, it's all light perception.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is I want you to bring your paint chips home, or if there's not a large paint chip, bring a little sample, but don't just paint it on the wall. I want you to paint it on a piece of cardstock or a little canvas so you can move it around the space, but think about the room that you're putting it in and when you're using it. If you're only using that room in the evening when you have artificial lighting, why are we looking at the color in natural daylight when it's gonna look completely different?
Totally.
So I brought the lighting boxes here with different lighting sources so you can see that it slides right across the Kelvin scale. Now, let me point out, that is the exact same paint chip in all of the boxes.
But this one looks like yellow, and that one looks blue.
So going back to the color wheel, and again, additive color mixing, which is our RGB, when you think about a blue color with a warm light, you're actually mixing across the color wheel, complementary colors. So you're canceling out that blue by adding in the orange, and it creates it more dull, kind of you're following in the middle of the scale there. So it creates a muddy color, very dull color. So you want to work with the color, so think about your lighting source. And if you have a cooler color, maybe think about a cooler lighting to bring the richness, or when in doubt, stay right in the center of that Kelvin scale with your 5,000, 6,000 Kelvin bulb.
Okay, I love that. That was like a crash course.
It's a lot.
I know, but important.
So
we love it. All right, and next up, what are we talking about next?
So I think think the other important thing to consider is layering your lighting within the space. We hear that the big lights, don't use the big lights, they're intense, right? But the big lights are important. That's ambient lighting, and that creates those broad strokes of lighting in your space. But then we talk about task lighting, and this is quite literally the more focused lighting for a task. So whether it's under cabinet lighting in a kitchen when you're cooking, a reading lamp, this really serves a purpose and a function with the task. And then we get into the more accent lighting or decorative lighting, like the candles that really set the mood, or think about picture lights when you have it to highlight something and draw focus and attention.
It's not to light the room, it's to vibe.
It's to vibe and create kind of focus or highlighted detail, maybe architectural detail in your space. Think about layering all of those things, because there's nothing worse than a dark corner. You really want to balance that out as much as possible. But I want you to also think about your table lamps, because for me, the table lamp is the Swiss Army knife in the lighting world.
Okay, I like this.
Because when you talk about the lumens, when you make it nice and bright, then they become more of your task lighting, or you make them a little more subtle and dull, and then they become your mood lighting.
Vibe lighting.
It's kind of like that friend who's like funny, smart, and like just all around fabulous.
So the you
like
of my group?
You're so sweet. So speaking of smart, there's a lot of smart hubs on the market where you can kind of connect everything in one place and create scenes, which I love. I have a cleaning scene for my house that I click, and all the lights come on like stadium lighting, so I can see where everything in the space. And then I'm often cleaning before I entertain. Then I click my entertaining thing, and the lights come down. And it's just all about being smart in your space and letting your lighting work for you. Ding.
I love this, Leigh-Ann. Absolutely amazing. Now, this guy, you can also change the brightness as well.
Well, there's the smart hubs, but if you feel like you need a PhD in lighting to control a smart hub, you can also just get a bulb on a remote control. So all of this is just the click of a button here, and you can change your lighting sources really easily, and you don't need to get into all the fancy schmancy apps.
I love this. Leigh-Ann taking us through Lighting 101. Professor Leigh-Ann, everybody. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.